Hey guys, Sajira here. I have a confession to make today. I was once a not safe for work artist. I know. All of you who saw me as a sweet, wholesome little lady have just had that image shattered. I'm sorry. But yes, I used to pretty much draw exclusively NSFW artwork for a living. And even though it now seems like a long ago fever dream, I have some takeaways from that period of my life. Now before you ask, no, I am not going to be sharing any of the pictures from back then. Let me take you back on a journey through time. The year was 2018. I think. I was playing this little game called Conan Exiles on this little roleplay server. Now if you're unaware, the roleplay servers in that game tend to have a community of very, shall we say, adult-oriented roleplayers. Not all of them, and there was a lot of awesome clean roleplay too. I met some pretty cool people there, and I used to post my art on the server's Discord server. And one day, one of my friends on there asked if I take commissions. At this point in my life, I had never actually done a commission for real money. Only things like MMO gold or something. It was a pretty simple one. I was just asked to draw this person's character. I think I charged like $40 or something. But the client was happy, I was happy, so I went ahead and shared it on the Discord server too. And then more people wanted commissions. These commissions were a bit more risque, but nothing really extreme. Think like pin-up poses in nude or nearly nude. I thought it was a bit weird, but meh. I was an adult, I knew what bodies look like. Money's money. I made maybe $200 all up. So I decided to finally do up a commission sheet and start trying to get more commissions elsewhere. While I didn't advertise myself as a not safe for work artist, I did include one little line at the bottom of the sheet in the rules. NSFW OK. Since I also played Final Fantasy XIV and often drew my own character, I started picking up a lot of FF14 clients, who turned out to be more horny than the Conan players. At first it was much the same as before, just sexy poses. But then the requests started to get a bit more extreme. Extreme as in sweaty, naked adult time. Now, I didn't and still don't have a problem with drawing this kind of stuff. In theory, I don't mind that sort of art if it's romantic or sensual and so on. Except that's never what I was asked to do. No, I was asked for very specific scenarios and poses. As someone who had a very sheltered upbringing, going to a religious school whose sexual education consisted almost entirely of don't do it before marriage or you go to hell, I was not particularly well versed with what people could be into. There were sometimes things brought up that I had to frantically Google the definition of because I didn't want people to think I wasn't cool. And then I'd promptly say to myself, people are into that? My point is, I was not overly comfortable with the commissions that I was getting. But hey, if people were willing to pay me, I'd draw it. I am a firm believer in not judging what people are into, so long as everyone involved is consenting and of age. But this was destroying my soul. Now, I was getting a lot of clients, but because this is all I was getting commissioned to draw, I wasn't getting the chance to draw something different to add to my portfolio. And because this was all that I was drawing, it's all I was getting commissioned to do, in a never-ending cycle of smut. It got to the point that each time I finished a commission, I needed to give myself 2 to 3 weeks before I was ready to draw again, because I just hated it. Eventually, I set myself a rule that in between every commission, I would draw a personal artwork so that I was at least still doing something that I liked. Now, even though I didn't enjoy this style of art, there was an interesting side effect to all of this. Even when I was drawing my own artworks, because I was so used to drawing not safe for work stuff, my own personal art was becoming much the same. Because I didn't feel comfortable sharing those commissions on social media, they were only shared on Discord servers that were filled with a very specific type of people. The type of people who liked that type of art. So when I tried to draw something more normal, or with more, shall we say, realistic proportions, it tended to be met with lukewarm reactions at best. And like many artists, I wanted people to actually like my art. When I exaggerated the bodies, drew more provocative outfits and such, it received a lot more positive feedback. So my own OCs were being designed with skimpier outfits. My safe for work artworks were more flirtatious. It all started to become just mundane and normal to me, and I began to just not see anything inappropriate with most of it. Honestly, I think I started to become desensitized to it all. So here's where reality finally hit me. My supervisor at my job learned through the grapevine that I was an artist, and one day she asked out of curiosity to see my art. I scrolled through my phone and picked out an artwork of one of my OCs that I thought was cute. It looked totally safe for work to me, and I will never forget how she reacted. Her eyebrows rose, and then she kind of scrunched up her face before saying, "Oh, very sexualized art." Guys, I was shattered. I felt so embarrassed to realize that what I thought was totally normal came across as something lewd to people around me. I started thinking back to all the times I had shared what I considered to be safe work art with other people and questioning if they had been thinking the same thing. Well, I needed change. There was this tabletop gaming forum I liked to hang out at the time, and this particular forum was very anti-sexual anything. I went to the arts and crafts subforum and I shared some of my favorite artworks, asking for opinions and advice on how to improve. Let's just say that they were not impressed. They did not like my cute anime girls. They did not like my unrealistic outfit and armor designs, even though they were never intended to be realistic. They did not like my non-realism style. I think I purged most of the comments from my memory because they were kind of mean, but there was one that I do remember that was at least worded more kind and helpfully. "You can draw pretty, so you need to draw ugly. Show us a pot-bellied dwarf covered in pockmarks. Show us an old decrepit hag with warts on her face. Show us a decomposing zombie." So that's what I tried to do. And I hated it just as much as the not safe work art. But here's something that I realized at that time. While it's definitely a good skill to have to be able to draw different things, and there will always be places where you need to have fat dwarves, old hags, and rotting zombies, these are not the things that I have ever needed to draw in the years since. I like drawing pretty. I don't need the skill for something that I never intend to draw. It's like telling a background or landscape artist that they need to learn how to draw character designs. Basically, this advice and this community was also not the one I wanted to be a part of. So it was around this point that I said I just wanted to draw what I want to draw. So I started to draw magical girls. As you do. I started designing my own magical girl team. And while they weren't realistic, they were very different to what I had been doing. And as expected, the people I had been around just didn't really care for them. But eventually, I started to get some new fans. I started drawing a lot more of my own FF14 character, and I got fans for her. And then, I finally started getting commissions that were not NSFW. And then all my commissions were things that I was finally having fun with. At least until I got bored of doing Final Fantasy art. But that's a different story. So what did I actually learn from my time as a not safe for work artist? Well, I learned that you guys are all way too horny. But beyond that, I really learned that you should draw what you want to draw and for the community you want to be a part of. Artistically, there were some positives to all that smut though. While I wasn't great at it, it did teach me a lot about anatomy and how figures interact with each other. Before then, if I was drawing multiple characters, I would draw them separately then just position them near each other. But these artworks forced me to think of how figures needed to position and react with each other, which has been useful to me in the time since. I was forced to think about more complicated poses. I couldn't do the old trick of hiding hands in a pocket when there were no pockets. Or pants. So in the end, was it worth it? Well, it did teach me to pursue what I wanted rather than just go for what got me attention. It did teach me not to care about views or follower count, which you may notice from all my social media. Anyway, that's enough of dropping Sajiri lore. Have you guys ever been through a phase like this? Whether it be not safe for work or just trying to appeal to a community you don't care for much? Let me know down in the comments. Please tell me I'm not alone in this.